we started this program talking about legacy and the Super Bowl and what a win would mean for certain legacies. I chose the quarterbacks coach and another player from each team. Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey for the Chiefs, and Hurts, Sirianni, and Saquon for the Eagles, and what a Super Bowl win would mean for their legacies. Obviously, for the Eagles, it would be starting them on a path of being a Super Bowl winner and what comes with that, the trappings, the trimmings, and potentially for players, Hall of Fame consideration later on in their careers. We've been discussing throughout this program everything going on around the NFL. But in terms of legacies, Mahomes was asked this question today. This is fresh pre-Super Bowl sound from Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always want to leave a legacy and kind of make your imprint on history. But more than anything, you just want to accomplish a goal that you have with your teammates. When you start at St. Joe, your goal is to win the Super Bowl. We know it's a hard process. We know it's a hard week in and week out. But I'm proud of how our guys have kind of went about that process. And we know it's not going to be easy. This team we're playing is a really good football team. But we're going to go out there and put our best effort out there and play as a team, and hopefully that's enough to get a win.
And how much have you admired those athletes like Kobe and Michael, and how much they've influenced you in your career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think more than anything is you see the competitors that they are, is that they're going to do whatever it takes to win. That's what you have to be in order to have success in professional sports, is a competitor, someone that's going to put in the work every single week. And watching them and listening to things that when they talk about, that's helped shape my career on how I have to work. And obviously, it's a long way, I feel like, still for me to go to be mentioned with those guys, but I'll try to do whatever I can to be close enough as I can be.
In terms of that, again, as I mentioned at the top when talking about his legacy, if he wins the Super Bowl MVP, that would give him 4. He would join Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and LeBron James as the only players in any of the North American sports leagues with 4 more championship MVPs. And you know, again, with a win in Super Bowl 59, how about this one? Mahomes would have 17. He would have 18 career playoff wins. 18. The only one in front of him is Brady. So if he wins Super Bowl 59, Patrick Mahomes would surpass the Bears, Seahawks, and Titans in terms of playoff wins. Those 3 franchises. Mahomes individually would surpass them. And so, yeah, his legacy would be completely taken up another notch. And as the only human being that has a chance right now on planet Earth to catch Tom Brady, unless there's somebody, you know, in college right now or high school right now or grade school right now that's going to grow up and become the next Mahomes. Mm-hmm. That's about it.
There is someone.
You know, that's about it. So what do you say, gents? It's now time to throw out a name here as the person on either roster or sideline who would have their legacy built in a way that surpasses any other with a win in the Super Bowl.
Ooh, I think you got to talk about 95. Chris Jones becomes an automatic first-ballot Hall of Famer.
With a win?
Yeah.
You don't think he's an automatic first-ballot Hall of Famer without a win?
He doesn't have, like, the Defensive Player of the Year or any of that stuff, but, I just think it cements it.
I already think he's kind of there, actually.
Okay. Don't forget about DeAndre Hopkins. That was another name I thought you might have mentioned.
Well, D-Hop is one of the first-timers. There's a lot of first-timers in this league. I don't know. I think DeAndre Hopkins can make is the Hall of Fame the legacy, though? Because, again, we
having that ring certainly helps.
Well, I mean, having the ring to get in, that's one thing. And that's why we talk about Hurts and Saquon and Sirianni, right? Sirianni's not making the Hall of Fame unless he wins 2, if not 3.
Right.
Reed's in. Every single person that I've mentioned, Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey, are in the Hall of Fame. The question is where are you on the pecking order within the Hall of Fame when you're going to be walking around, you know, God willing, deep into your 60s, 70s, 80s when you return to Canton, Ohio. How are you viewed within the building?
There's just a long list of wide receivers, kind of in front of him, and having the ring, and especially if he plays well, maybe he gets in the end zone. That's a differentiating, element to your resume.
That's why you have to include, or what you're talking about, Hurts. If Jalen Hurts wins this Super Bowl, he is 100% on a different plane than the guy that we're sitting and talking about right now.
Yeah,
in a weird way.
He was my answer.
Who's
your answer?
Yeah.
Go for it.
He's the new Russell Wilson if he wins, in a weird way. So early in his career.
I mean, that's just it. Like, as a quarterback, we put all the wins and losses on you. Not only did you win the Super Bowl, but you came back after losing the Super Bowl, which, as you said earlier, just to get it back never happened. So him being, and remember, he had an argument to be MVP of the last Super Bowl they were in, even though they lost. So him winning that's next level for him. And I think his legacy, Mahomes is already established. He's good. This will take him up to the top tier of quarterbacks.
The only reason why I keep landing back on Mahomes is because of being mentioned as the all-time 100%, no questions about it, great.
Well, that won't happen, though.
What if he plays deep into his 40s just like Brady and wins more?
Well, because there's always going to be a Chris Brockman out there that will tell you if he doesn't win more Super Bowls than Brady.
No,
and even if he ties him, his argument is when they went head-to-head, Brady beat him. So he's going to have to clear Brady by at least one Super Bowl.
But the fact that we're even in the realm, for him to be in that realm, to win again this year and get 4 before he's 30, to tie Montana and Bradshaw before you even turn 30.
That's wild.
It's insane.
That's wild.
Because this is what Bill Burr was talking about earlier this week, and with a more of a nefarious angle from the NFL's point of view, is that the Brady stuff and the Montana stuff, the Brady stuff was just absurd because we all grew up, Montana and Bradshaw are impossible to
was the gold
reach.
standard right
and
there.
we're seeing somebody reach it before he's 30. There's got to be something in the ether here that's a guiding hand, because it makes the entertainment product, as he said, more of an interest to others. Now, it's silly what he's doing.
It's insanity.
So you add to the silliness, and now you're getting to a point where he's setting a standard for anybody before they turn 30 that may never be matched, and it wasn't even touched by Brady. Brady's longevity is what got him to the 7. And the longevity and how terrific he was so deep is something that, again, is what Mahomes is going to have to set his sights on next. And Brett Veach,
continuing to build the roster.
Reed is going to have to stay and whatever. But that's why I'm talking about legacy there, that eclipses. It's really your definition of legacy. Is it, walking into the Hall of Fame and being able to say, if there was a pecking order like Dion says there should be, right? Levels, right? If there's levels, I'm on the top floor. Good to see you. Join our ranks, Mr. One Ring,
right?
Mr. 2 rings, or Mr. 1 ring and Mr. 2 rings is still better than Mr. No rings.
True.
And Jalen Hurts having 1 ring at this point in time with, by the way, A.J. Brown is not like long in the tooth. Neither is Devontae Smith. Saquon isn't, which is the other crazy thing. It's not like he was 31, 32 like Derrick Henry's age when the Giants are like, go ahead for no compensation to us.
Right.
Sirianni's the 5th youngest coach to return to the Super Bowl for a second time. He's in his mid-40s. So he's going nowhere unless, there's some Philadelphia story of leopard face eating that comes from a difficult sports town on occasion. I don't see it. Howie Roseman's not going anywhere. Jeff Lurie's not going anywhere. But so you got to start somewhere, and to prevent the three-peat in the process. You see where I'm going with legacy building? So you choose Hurts. Who do you choose, Chris? You can choose Andy Reid too, pal.
I was going to say Spags. Is he the best DC ever?
Yeah.
Well, I think he already has the most rings of any coordinator. He's already there.
Yeah.
You know,
he's been a big story, though. I mean, waited all game to dial up the one blitz at the one perfect time against Buffalo. And we've kind of seen that all year. The defense kind of carried them at the first part of the year before Mahomes kind of got his fitting and really had an awesome second half of the season. I don't know. It's a good question.
That's why we're asking it. By the way, earlier today, getting from Mike Mayock. That's a great. He said great 3 times in terms of the question I asked him. By the way, the 2007 version of me is like doing jumping jacks. That Mike Mayock thought I did I gave him a great question.
Yeah, if you want to talk about Andy Reid, he's on his way to being the best coach ever, and kind of knocking Bill off that platform, especially if he's going to coach another. I don't know what he's like 66, I think. So if he's going to coach into his 70s, keeping Mahomes around, that's a pretty select group of 4-time Super Bowl winners. There's literally only 3 people right now, right?
I mean, certainly you're seeing a 73-year-old just got hired in Vegas. So you say Andy Reid 7 more years. I mean, based on the last 7 years, he's made the AFC Championship game every time, and he's made 5 Super Bowls in the last 6. So he could eclipse. He could absolutely eclipse.
He could. I mean, Bill and Tom had a 10-year drought before the second run.
So that's the question: is the legacy question somebody that's already gotten an insane amount and that you're now compiling to get to the point where others will never touch you, and you're in the most rarefied dynastic air, or you're just starting and creating your own legacy, which if you lose, you're not going to do. That's the question: is what do you value more, the first or the umpteenth? And I kind of go like, I know you go first, but I go first. I know it's got to start somewhere.
I go first.
But when you're first going against umpteenth,
I know,
with a triple play at stake here that we've never seen in the NFL, I kind of land on the umpteenth, and I land on the quarterback in the quarterback sport where there's only one guy. And Brady's, again, if Mahomes wins this game, he's got 18 playoff wins. He's officially halfway to Brady.
That's insane.
He's more than halfway to Brady in terms of championships, and then he's about to turn 30. So how do you not choose Mahomes? And so that and by the way, kudos to him for when he's asked about his legacy, he's talking about his teammates.
Yeah.
And he's also he's on the cap for $50 million next year, $10 million less than Dak and Justin Herbert.
He signed that massive deal. Everyone was like, "Well, this is going to end up. He's going to age well for the Chiefs."
And by the way, if this allows him to have Chris Jones sack the quarterback and allows him to have the flexibility to go and get DeAndre Hopkins in the middle of the season, I understand that that's not led to actual touchdowns, but it means a lot. If you're able to do all that, what does he care? $50 million's enough, and it's still a lot.
Yeah.
And as long as he,
as long as he's happy with it.
What does he care? People are like, well, wait a minute. Do you see who's making more than you? Oh,
yeah, we've seen
who's got. Do you see who's got less than me in every other metric?
He's got like 9 holes on his.
He's got a par 3 course in his backyard.
He's got a 50-yard football field. I think he's good.
My trophy case. That's all he's got to say.
Life is good for Patrick.
Look behind me.
Which is why I land on him. Biggest legacy is like, okay, now he's with Bradshaw and Montana, and he's not even 30.
Oof.
Something Brady wasn't able to say either. So that's legacy. I mean, that's it. But I mean, if you're basically saying you're already in the Hall of Fame, which is the ultimate legacy piece you can have,
he's for sure already in.
Oh,
so it's
like if he just says, you know what, he shocks everybody and he
retires.
Yeah, hey, everybody. Peace out.
What if he wins the Super Bowl this year and was like, look, I've done all I can here. I'm going to go back to my first love, baseball. And Patrick Mahomes.
And then guess what? Then everyone in the AFC would be like, hey, let's call up Hakeem Olajuwon and see what he was able to do when that happened in his sport.
We're good.
Hey.
We're going to get these 2 years real quick before it comes to the census.
That's it.
A lot of people happy in Buffalo and Baltimore.
Everyone would be buying Memphis Chicks jerseys.
Free wings for everybody.
Wow.
Is that where we
Well,
play?
remember, he's part owner. Yeah, he's part owner of the Royals, so whatever they're...
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to go play AAA for the Royals.
Does he have to enter like the supplemental like
Now
World
that's a
B
legacy.
draft or something?
Right. I wonder if he
Wins a
did he
couple
get
World
drafted
Series?
by baseball. I don't know. Like so many of these guys do get drafted, and we don't know
That's
about
funny.
it.
And Carson Wentz will be like, what? Who said what?
Hey,
Okay, very good. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.